Welcome to the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. In each episode, we're going to bring you insightful interviews and discussions with top restoration industry leaders. We're also going to delve into their business, the strategies that made them successful, and most importantly, the valuable lessons they learned along the way. I'm your host, Clinton James. I'm also the Chief Marketing Officer at Water Restoration Marketing. We're a digital marketing agency dedicated to helping restoration companies nationwide secure more high-value water jobs. Now, this show, it aims to provide you with the knowledge and tools you need to excel in the restoration industry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome, folks, to another episode of the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. I am your host, Clinton James, with Water Restoration Marketing.
And I'm Bobby Thomas, CEO of Extreme Services.
Bobby, how's the week treating you so far?
Man, I would say the week is treating me great, man. This week is my birthday week, so I'm going to say it's a fantastic week.
Awesome, man. Happy birthday to you, young man.
Thank you.
Today, I want to explore some of the hiring challenges that are facing restoration companies. What it's like trying to attract top talent, retain those guys, and really just offer our audience some actionable advice for owners and managers looking to build a strong and stable workforce there. So, Bobby, remind the audience, how long have you been in the restoration industry now?
A little over 15 years.
Okay, so you've been hiring, firing, retaining, promoting team members for the last better part over a decade, right?
Yeah.
What would you say has changed significantly when it comes to finding reliable techs in the restoration industry over the last few years?
I think one of the biggest changes is people's willingness to work.
Woo! I don't think that's restoration industry specific. It's a challenge that I think any business right now faces. But specifically for restoration, what are you seeing right now when you're out there recruiting and hiring new team members?
Well, the thing is in restoration, and restoration is a space to where a lot of the time just on the job training, right?
Mhm.
You know, you can go get your IICRC certs, but none of that means anything until you go do it in the field. So one of the challenges that you have as a restoration contractor is putting the time and energy into training someone with the hopes that they're going to stick around to want to grow their career, because there's plenty of opportunity to grow within the company, but a lot of people just don't want it, man. I'm going to say restoration, construction, anytime you have a labor type of job, you get people that they're not cut out for it, man. It's just to be honest about it.
Do you feel like techs are looking for different things nowadays in terms of pay, company culture, flexibility than they were 5 or 10 years ago?
Absolutely, man. I mean, they definitely are looking for the highest salary they can absolutely get. I ain't mad at them, man. You shoot your shot. Don't mean you're gonna get your shot, but shoot.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think most people are looking for a way to take care of their family, whether it's, with health insurance, flexibility with paid time off and things of that nature. Give you an example. Everybody in my company is on salary. I don't have not one person that's on an hourly wage.
Okay.
So, we give them the security of knowing that if we're slower during the week, they don't have to worry about a paycheck being shorter.
Awesome. Do you think company culture is more important than it used to be a decade ago when hiring technicians?
I think it's important, but I don't want to say it's as important now, because back in years ago, I feel like the camaraderie was more important in a company, but now everybody's more, I'm for myself
Wow.
than anything else.
Right. That's fair. How do you feel like younger workers approaching jobs in the restoration? Are they approaching it differently than past generations?
I'm going to use this phrase. Everybody want to get paid, but don't nobody want to work. That's the younger generation.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, let's talk a little about recruiting tactics, right? So you built a really solid team at Extreme Services. What's working for you in terms of recruitment right now?
So a couple tools we use for recruiting, we use Indeed, and we also use ZipRecruiter. Those are our two main recruiting sources.
Okay.
Um, you know, I'm gonna go on a limb here and say too, if we are looking for somebody and you happen to run past somebody's truck, I did it maybe about 4 weeks ago. I was in the parking lot of Publix. I saw a competitor's truck in the parking lot. Guy walked in and I said, "Hey, if you're looking to make a change, give me a call."
I love
Get in the
that.
car, you know?
Ah, so you're out there poaching your competitors' technicians. Yeah. All right. No one is safe if you're in Birmingham or Memphis or Atlanta. Bobby may literally steal one of your technicians there. So in terms of finding quality candidates, do you feel like still the job boards, your ZipRecruiters, your Indeeds, those are still the best place for you to find technicians?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the best place. Because people are looking, you're looking, and look, because that's the way technology is now, right? Everything is online, so people aren't walking around going door to door getting applications. They're going to their computer and applying for jobs that way now.
Okay. You mentioned that all of your team members are on salary, which
Mhm.
provides them a level of income stability that some other restoration companies don't provide right now, right? Is there
Right.
anything else that you're offering that you feel is kind of unique to stand out from other companies in your area?
Um, I don't know if it's unique per se, but we do offer health insurance, medical, dental, vision. Um, we also offer an employee assistance line. I mean, this is pretty much done through your payroll and HR company
Okay.
if you're using one. I remember when I used to work for corporate Marriott in DC, they had the employee assistance line to where if an employee is going through a situation, whether it may be financial or whatever, going through divorce, the support is there to actually help you with your life challenges.
I like
So those are some of the things that we offer.
Now, it's one thing to go out and find new talent, but then you got to retain them, right? So let's talk a little bit about retention. What are you doing to keep your techs long term right now?
So one thing I really like to promote is growth. I like to promote the culture of you don't have to be stuck where you are. And I think that's a thing for a lot of people is that you want a job, you want to do well, but you want to be appreciated for the work that you do too, and you want to be rewarded. Whether it's monetarily or if it's moving up with the company in a higher position, I want to reward the people that we have in the field. But like I said, with us growing, being in 3 markets and franchising as well, I want to create an opportunity to where, you can take your career as far as you want to go.
Are there any specific training or growth paths that you've used to really keep your techs engaged, motivated, and on board long term?
So a path that we use, one, of course, is just entry level tech.
Okay.
Uh, then another one is a lead tech. And then once you are a lead tech, you can be a lead tech 1, 2, or 3. So there's different levels of lead tech. Once you master being a lead tech 3, if the opportunity is available, you can become an operations manager and run a location.
Now, do you invest heavily in ongoing training and development for all your technicians, no matter what level they're at?
So we try to invest what makes sense for that technician because ultimately, as a company, if you're making an investment in the person, you want to make sure you're going to get a return on the investment. Let's just be honest.
Fair enough.
Uh, you're not going to invest in somebody that is there for a paycheck and not there long term.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about compensation and
Mhm.
benefits and scheduling. So, how do you structure your pay and even bonuses for your team right now?
So they're paid biweekly. Like I said, on a salary basis. Bonuses. We do quite a bit of fires in my company.
Yeah.
So any fire that is 30K or above, everybody that works on that fire gets $1,000 bonus.
Ah, love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you flexible in terms of hours and on-call rotations? And is that helpful from a hiring standpoint to offer that a little bit of flexibility?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one thing about us that's different too is I know some companies require their technicians to come into the office and just be there and be ready to go to a job. So I don't run a traditional operation. My techs aren't required to come to the office. Everybody is at home on call until the job comes in. So no one is. I'm not sitting in the office looking at John, Joe, or Harold. all day, right? So when a call comes in, they go to work. I remember being in corporate America, man. And I used to hate being at my job all day. I'm really done. Don't have anything to do, but you're there because you're trading hours for dollars, right? That was the name of the game. But I don't require that, and I always said when I had my company, I'm not going to require people to be at work just to be at work. I want to be productive.
It's interesting that you say that because some of the restoration companies I work with, they are really adamant about having their team come in, having like a
Mhm.
morning huddle with all of their technicians and even back office staff members there. You don't find that that's necessary. So how do you continue to keep up that camaraderie when you're not seeing your team members on a daily basis necessarily?
So, again, like, we do have those meetings, but they're just not on a daily basis.
Oh,
We are able to see the team. I talk to pretty much the team every single day, because I run an operation of if you don't know something, call somebody and ask a question. I'd rather you call and ask me or another executive person or manager in the company and ask questions versus making the wrong decision on a job, right? Because everybody doesn't know everything. I probably don't know everything either. But at the same time, I believe in communicating with the technicians and also just checking in. When I worked for another thing too, when I used to work for Marriott, in the hotel industries, we used to have it's a segment called walk and talks, right? So sometimes I will go out in the field and have a walk and talk with a tech, and they don't even know I'm going to show up. I'm just going to come out. I'm gonna help them with the job, and we're gonna. I call it work and talk now. So Mary, the walk and talk, we do work and talk. So I'll go out in the field and do that with technicians to see where they are, what their needs are, what their ambitions are as well too, because ultimately everybody has different desires, different goals, different dreams, right?
right.
Um, and it's my job as their leader to figure out how I can plug them into different things to help achieve their goals and dreams, along with achieving the company's goals as well.
So the personal relationship that you get to establish on a one-on-one basis doing those work and talk sessions,
Right.
how big a role do you think that plays in retention?
I think it plays a pretty big role, man. I mean, I think if you have an associate that knows that they have an employer that cares about, I think it goes a long way. I mean, I've worked for companies and I knew that they didn't care anything about me. They just want me to do my job, go to work, and whatever. So I think I think it is critical and crucial for you to have a relationship with your associate. I mean, to me, I know I get the feeling when I do those with them, the level of dedication that they have for the company.
Mhm.
Um, and then also too, again, me finding out, what their needs are, what they're looking to do and grow as well. So do you remember Undercover Boss?
I do remember Undercover Boss, yes.
All right, so I can never do that show because my employees know me.
We couldn't put, like, a prosthetic wig, maybe a different nose, mess up your teeth.
Yeah, and I just show up looking like Rick James, and I couldn't do it.
No. Fair enough, fair enough. Um, alright, Bobby, you've been doing this for over a decade, you've made some great hires, and you probably made some bad hires or some mistakes in the past. So why don't you tell me what's one of the biggest hiring mistakes you see restoration companies making over and over again?
Just putting a body in place because you need help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I use we've implemented a system called EOS, right? The entrepreneurial operating system in our business. And one of the things they talk about is right person, right seat, right? Do they have
Mhm.
the capacity to do the work? Do they have the skill set? Do they have the desire there? So you think often restoration companies become desperate and they hire somebody just to fill a seat as opposed to getting the right hire for that position?
Yeah, I think that's something, I have seen that and I'm not saying that it's done to a point to where they don't feel a person is competent, but I also have seen situations to where you're in a crunch, you get real busy, you're trying to throw 'em to the wolves, and when you do that with an individual, you tend to lose that person when you throw somebody out to the wolves. Don't get me wrong, you may have a person that will stick around, but just historically, that typically, in my opinion, doesn't work. I have the philosophy of slow to hire, fast to hire. Because again, they are a part of your company, your culture, and what they do, they represent your company's name. So at the end of the day, you have to make a decision of whether it's going to be fostering the environment or if it's toxic to your company's environment.
So hold on. I've heard this phrase before: slow to hire, fast to fire. Right? Is that what you said?
Yes, around.
All right. So we want to take our time to make sure we're bringing in the right person. But as soon as we've identified that somebody is not a good fit for the company, the culture, the work that we do, we want to make sure that we allow them for a gracious exit as quickly as possible. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's make it relevant to the industry, right? So if you're in a home and you have mold on drywall, what are you going to do? You're going to cut that piece out and get rid of it because you're not going to allow that mold to continue to grow to be toxic in that environment, right?
All right. So do you have any advice for somebody who's struggling right now to make some hires there, right? What would you do if you were in a position and you needed to find help? Is it going back to Indeed? Is it maybe doing some posts on social media? Is it maybe leveraging the technicians or people that you do have on staff because they probably know other people in their industry in the industry, right? And having them recruit. What do you think? How do you help a struggling restoration company that's just really having trouble getting butts into seats?
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you do have associates already on your team, ask around. You know, they may know somebody that's looking for a job. But something that we've done in the past is use temp agencies, man. I think we often forget about temp agencies.
There you go.
Um, you may run into somebody that is a good worker. I had a fire job that we did in Lawrenceville, Georgia, about a month ago. We added some temps on because it was a pretty big fire job. Now, out of the 3 temps that we, uh, had to help us out, there was one guy I would actually hire, and you can find people like that because you basically get to test drive their work, to see if you wanna bring them on.
That's a great idea. Who are you using right now for your temp work in both markets, right? Or all 3 markets?
Uh, so I only use temps in one market. That's only the Atlanta market.
Okay.
Um, I don't know their name off the top of my head, but let me see if I can pull them up real quick.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. We'll bring that information in a future episode there, all right? All right, so let's look ahead because obviously we've seen a lot of changes in the industry over the last decade, right? What do you think
Mhm.
the labor market will look like for the restoration industry over the next few years?
So, I think it's for restoration, construction, anything of a special trade. I think you're gonna see a continual decline of specialized workers in the space because you have a lot of guys that have been in the industry for years that are coming out. And I think that with the way technology and stuff is now, you have people that are more inclined to go that direction versus the, restoration, construction, or special trade field. There are people still getting into it, but I do continue to see a decline in the industry when it comes to getting skilled labor. I do see this to be a continued challenge going forward in the years to come.
I just went to the RIA event. Shouts out to the Restoration Industry Association. They put on a great event in West Palm Beach recently that I attended. And I think with the changes in technology, right? I think a we're going to see more improvements in technology. And with those in technology, we're going to be able to be more efficient as restoration businesses, right? So one
Mhm.
person's going to be able to do more work than multiple people because they have these efficient technology tools to utilize there. I don't know yet that the robots are coming for the technicians' jobs anytime in the immediate future there. But hey, you never know. 10 years from now, we could have AI robots that are going in and doing all the mitigation work for homes there.
I mean, be honest with you, if they do that, I want to be part of the design process. I hope we come up with AI robots that can do the work. That would be fantastic.
All right. Let's talk long term. What are you doing as you continue to grow Extreme Services? Like, what are you doing so that you can go out and find those next technicians, those next leaders? Are there anything that you're doing from a branding standpoint, right? To make sure that, hey, the people that are in your markets that are looking for work, are they aware that you're an option to them?
Yeah. So another thing that we do as well too is, reach out to your local community colleges, people that are getting certificates or associate's degree in the construction space, people that are looking for trade work. I think that's a great place, to find individuals, and then putting your name out in the community. Different church organizations and things of that nature. You may want to sponsor a few events, because what's the old saying? People do business with people that they like and that they know, right? So if they like and know who you are, you're more apt to attract better talent.
Yeah, better talent and more job opportunities, right? Because they see you there. So, um,
Absolutely.
I think the consensus here is I don't care whether you run a restoration business or you run a digital marketing agency, or a coffee shop or a landscaping company. I
Right.
think everybody's suffering from some of the same challenges when it comes to hiring and retaining
Mm.
good talent. The best thing that you can do is one, be intent, be intent I'm sorry, use intent when hiring the right person, right? Make
Right.
sure you know who the right person is. Provide ongoing coaching and development and really just show that you care. Be invested in your team members because you can't expect them to be invested in the growth of your business if you're not invested in their personal and professional growth there. So, great conversation, Bobby. Always love catching up with you and having these conversations. I hope the audience, if you're struggling to hire right now, I hope you got some insight in this. Go out, utilize the tools, build your brand. It'll make it easier for you to bring in that next level technician, that next team member that you're going to need to grow your restoration company. Any last thoughts for the audience, Bobby?
No real major last thoughts. Again, when it comes to trying to find talent, is have an open mind to developing talent too. Because sometimes you may have raw talent and it just may need to be developed.
That's a great idea. Some of the best technicians that you're going to have in your business, you're going to teach them how to be technicians. They don't come through the door pre-made. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Hope you guys like what you heard today. Like, subscribe, follow us on social. We'll be back with more interviews and insights for restoration companies on taking it to the next level. Bobby, thank you again for your time, sir.
Thank you, Clint.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. If you like what you heard today, be sure to subscribe, share, and also leave us a 5-star review. We'll be back with more interviews and discussions with restoration industry leaders really soon. In the meantime, if you're a restoration company looking to add more high-value water jobs, you can reach me and my team at waterrestorationmarketing.net. Again, that's waterrestorationmarketing.net. I look forward to hearing from you soon.